Let's get it. In a People magazine exclusive that I put the link down below, Kody Brown is making the assertion that his confidence is coming back and he looks forward to a lot more understanding and forgiveness in the family. Now, per usual, I would hope that you guys are enjoying the content, that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notification, as well as give me a thumbs up to let me know that you appreciate the content. It's easy to do and it really helps a brother out. That's why we call it the HBO special. Now let's get it. All right, right off the top, these are some of the things that I pulled out from the article that I think were very interesting. One of the things that they talk about is Kody saying, it's been a process, he shares. Really, I just look forward to a future of a lot of forgiving and a lot more understanding. Wow, that sounds like Kody is really taking note and taking charge of the fact that his family is falling apart and his hand in that family falling apart, because he's looking for forgiveness and he's looking for understanding. Isn't that nice? But let us not forget that this is now the full season of the Kody and Robyn image rehabilitation train. This is where they're going to come in and start to try to present themselves as these kind, thoughtful souls who are just misunderstood heroes. People who we don't really know, because as he said, justice for Jeff during the look back, when Jeff had wrote in a comment saying, hey, you guys found each other, you should be happy with each other's love. The thing that you both said, that you feel ashamed and you feel embarrassed and you feel constrained because you can't show each other the type of love that you want to. Now you're free to do it. Jeff, you don't know us. You don't know my life. You can't tell me that I'm going to be proud of my situation, that I only got one wife left. You don't know the heartbreak. I ain't want this. Even though I did everything in the world possible to facilitate this bad attitude and this bad situation, you don't know what I'm going through. So we went through all that. So let us keep that in mind as we progress and proceed through this description of this article. The next point that I wanted to point out was actually something that Kody admits, and something that he said. He says, Kody admits that he had to rebuild his self-esteem because it destroys your confidence when you go through a divorce and a family breakup. In addition, he says, I feel like my confidence is coming back. Wow. Okay, Kody's confidence is coming back. He felt like he was broken. Now he's rehealing himself. He's reforming. He says, I got to find that space of grace and love for myself as well. Be it really forgiving of simple things. Okay, like just being angry about what has happened. I want to forgive myself for that and move on. So it's not that he wants to find forgiveness from the people that he's offended. He wants to find in this forgiveness in the situation for how he has wronged and the part he's played in the breakup of the family and the teardown of these women who have not only given him children but helped him to raise his children. Nay. What Kody insists upon is that he needs to forgive himself for being offended by these women and their bad deeds. I need to forgive you for what you did to me. And the fact that I need to forgive myself because I was angry. And I need to understand that I'm okay for being angry. What I did wasn't that bad. That's essentially what Kody is saying. It's ridiculous. There's also a point where he refers to it as simple things. It's no big deal that I was mad that these women just up and left for no reason. They had no reason to go. They just got up and decided to leave for no reason. Everything was going perfect. Everything was fine. There was nothing that I did or anybody did to them that made them feel unwelcome, like they couldn't be a part of the family. They abandoned us, abandoned me, abandoned our relationship, and walked out on our kids. This is the position that inherently he's taken that makes no sense. And he forgives them because he was angry. He's not asking for their forgiveness. He's giving himself permission to be angry. This is ridiculous. And this is like crazy sauce. Another thing he said was this. You have to express forgiveness to the people you've been involved with, he adds. You have to express understanding and hope that at the end of an era, for us as a family, we still have hope of a friendship and a loving or kind relationship with each other in the future because we're bound together through our kids. Wouldn't it have been nice that he kept that in mind as he was sitting around saying that, accusing Janelle of breaking up the family and keeping his kids away from him because he refused to call them or refused to have a conversation with them or refused to reach out to them or refused to maintain a separate and independent relationship with his kids on his own? Yet and still, it was supposed to be Janelle's responsibility to make sure that his kids fell in line behind him, even though he didn't want to have a conversation with them or reach out with them or tell them himself that these kids need to fall in line and follow his instructions and, more to the point, obey. But he's going to use the kids as an excuse. The same way he refused to come around and see Christine when she had the kids and the kids were all living at home, when Isabel was there, Truly was there, Gwendolyn was there, and he refused to come over to the house and spend time with her and use COVID as an excuse, only to turn around when Christine was fed up and she decided that she was going to leave and move away. Now all of a sudden, no, you can't leave. You can't take my kids. The same kids whose house I've driven by multiple times a day over the course of years, several years, and never stopped in once to see how they were doing or what they were up to. You can't take them away because you're denying me the opportunity to spend time with the kids that I've been ignoring for years. Those same kids, or the adult kids who no longer live in the house. Currently, there are only 2 children who, to my understanding, are still at home. Savannah, living with Janelle, who is now technically an adult because she's graduated high school, and Truly, who lives with Christine. The other 12 children, the other 11 children, live on their own, have their own houses, in some cases have their own families. So if Cody ever wanted to reach out to them, he could. Now, there is something that I want to say with regard to the relationship of people who have children. In these particular instances, yes, you do have to be involved when you have minor children. But in cases where you no longer have minor children, you no longer have ties, you can give yourself a buffer of separation to where you can reform your love and appreciation for yourself, and you can help to reestablish new boundaries and borders so that you can structure a friendship or at least a situationship with that co-parent where you're able to co-parent. You don't have to be best friends, best buddies. You don't have to call yourselves family anymore. You don't even have to really refer to yourself as exes or baby mama, baby daddy, whatever the case may be. All you have to do is make sure that you can be mature enough to be able to have conversations about the children and the child's best interest, full stop. You don't have to revisit the past. You don't have to love each other, etc., etc. There's also a point where if somebody is not willing to acknowledge what they did wrong, acknowledge their offense, acknowledge the bearing that person has on you when they committed that offense. When I did this wrong thing, how did it affect you and how were you affected? And then once I acknowledge those things, the fact that I did something wrong, that something wrong did happen, that I am responsible for that wrong thing, and how that wrong thing affected you, and how I am sorry that you went through those things. When I accept those things, then I can proffer an apology, and then we can move forward. But if I am unwilling to acknowledge any, if not all of those things, then I am not ready to move forward, and we can't move forward with any type of relationship. Because at that point, I'm not giving you anything to go off of. We're just going to what? As Cody said, we just sweep it under the rug and pretend like it doesn't exist and pretend like we're all a bunch of alcoholics. Oh yeah, I apologize for the little live thing down there. We are not live. This is a pre-recorded tape, but we will be going live a few times a week, and I hope you guys can join in for it. One of the last things that he says, and there's 2 more that I want to go through. The first thing, with some distance from the fallout of the split, Cody tells people he's in a place now of just healing in time and getting to a point where you feel forgiveness towards somebody who's just said bad things about you. You feel forgiveness for somebody who's talking trash about you. That's what you got out of that whole situation. It's not the fact that they're talking trash about you and you feel a certain kind of way about it. If we tear that back and actually look, raise the hood and look into the engine well, we actually take a look at what the issues were. It's not that these women are sitting there talking trash about Cody. What they're doing is describing their experiences with Cody. And those experiences are coming off negatively and make Cody look bad. And for that, all I can say is too bad, so sad. We cry all the way home because these women are describing their experience with you. And you acknowledge that these were the experiences. And the charity and forgiveness that he's referring to is that these women are no longer willing to be silent and cover up for his wrongdoing. When he does something wrong, when he doesn't come around and see the kids or spend time with the kids, these women are no longer willing to lie to the audience and to the fan base and say that Cody is a great father and he's so involved and he's hyper vigilant about being a part of these kids' lives. They just simply come out and be like, I haven't seen Cody in years. He hasn't come over and spent the night with these kids for several years, or he hasn't spent time with them or called them or contacted them on their holidays, birthdays, graduation, special events, etc., etc. He has made no time for these children. And because they're no longer willing to do that, now all of a sudden, they're terrible people and they need to give a little more forgiveness and charity to him to keep his image going. And there's a point that I want to make at the end of this, but the final thing that I pulled from this article, and there are several articles which I will be talking about on the channel, so look forward to those as well as the lives. He continued, what will move us forward will be the grace, the love, and forgiveness. The same grace and love that we were giving each other 10 years ago as we're going through this very difficult process. The difficult process that he's talking about is the absence of these women that he took for granted. And when we look at this entire article, again, the link will be down below. It's a very interesting article. When we look at this People Magazine exclusive article, one of the things that really stood out to me is that Cody isn't concerned about forgiveness. What Cody is concerned about is the greatest offense that to him that has been committed in this entire thing, as he describes it, is the fact that his personal image has been hurt and his ego has been damaged. How dare these women damage my ego and my image? And that speaks a lot. Again, I'm not a huge fan of trying to label and categorize people as narcissists, socialists, not socialists, but a psychopath, sociopaths, etc., etc. I just call a jerk and an ass. That's pretty much where I'm at, and I draw the line there. I don't need to go into deep understanding and try to divide like some kind of, I'm going to heal them because I understand what they are. I just know that these are the type of people that I don't like to associate with or deal with. But it is interesting to me that one of the things that he is so concerned about is his image. And this speaks to the insecurities that he has and the low self-esteem that many people would attribute to people who do suffer from narcissistic traits or tendencies. Again, an ass is an ass. Who cares if that's actually what he is? The truth of the matter is, the only thing he's worried about is how he looks. He's worried about the image. He's worried about the greatest offense that these women committed against him was the fact that they made him look bad in the public on his show. Because again, he thinks that this is his show. Let me know what you guys think down below. Leave that comment. Leave me your take. Let's continue the conversation. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
Yeah.